Pyro always remains a talking point in Scottish football, and today, on Saturday, the 14th of June, is no different. Welcome back to folk football. But a slow news day. Transfers, they do tend to die down around the weekend. So let's talk about the SPFL and their call for greater use of footballing banning orders. So let's dive into the article here on BBC Sport. The Scottish Professional Football League says there is a greater need for football banning orders to tackle unacceptable conduct at matches. In a statement, the league body highlighted the dangerous, irresponsible, and selfish behaviour from a minority of fans in Scotland. The SPFL pointed to the use of smoke bombs and flares as a particular concern and welcomed more discussions with Police Scotland and the Scottish Government about how to best crack down on the issue. The league has confirmed Celtic, Aberdeen, and Partick Thistle face punishment for the use of pyrotechnics by fans near the end of the 2024-25 season. Comes after Scottish FA Chief Executive Ian Maxwell insisted he wants to avoid a situation where supporters are banned for using pyrotechnics. In terms of, so obviously the league has confirmed about Celtic, Aberdeen, and Partick. Trying to recall these incidents. I'm going to assume Aberdeen's was the cup final. Partick Thistle was probably when they beat, who'd they beat in the, who did Partick Thistle? Ayr. It's probably when Partick beat Ayr in the semi-final playoff. As for Celtic, I'm going to assume it was probably the final game of the season or one of the other games in the split. I just can't, a game just doesn't ring my mind. Or maybe it was, did they use any at Ibrox? Can't really recall, but I think with Aberdeen it was definitely the cup final, and Partick it was probably the semi final. But yeah, Ian Maxwell, he doesn't want fans being banned, but that's what he had to say. And I quote: "You would absolutely never want to get to that stage, and we need to look at the steps we can to avoid that." End of quote. Yeah, I've always been very vocal, been a defender of Pyro. Uh, I like it, man. You know, we literally see Pyro get used on the pitch. The problem is, it's never in a million years going to get passed. Like, no law, no rule is ever going to get passed for the usage of Pyro in the stands. We can't even get alcohol in the stands, man. So the chances of getting Pyro in the stands is pretty much no chance. It's never going to happen. But I think you would be lying to say that Pyro doesn't add to the atmosphere and add to games when you see it in the away end or when you see it in the home end or you see it in the cup games, man. And you get blue, you've got red, you get green, you've got orange, you've got maroon, whatever. It definitely adds to the atmosphere and the overall spectacle. It does. Like I totally understand it, right? When you're at a game and it gets delayed 10, 15 minutes and you're sitting there, oh, for fuck's sake, just let this smoke clear, man. I understand both sides of it, but for me, I love the atmosphere it provides. It makes us unique. It makes us feel like more legit and more old school. See England, man, they couldn't be any further away for that kind of stuff. Now, the SPFL confirmed attendances have risen for a third consecutive season and thanked fans for their incredible support. Crowds across all leagues, cups, and playoff matches totalled more than 5.3 million, a rise of nearly 185,000 from the 23-24 season. So, you know what you do, guys? Get your hand out, pat yourself on the back if you attend at a game. So I was a point. I was a part of that 5.3 million. Question is, were you? They then went on to say the SPFL, and I quote, "We will be having further meetings with key stakeholders over the summer to review the most recent season and look ahead to the 2025-26 campaign. We remain committed to ensuring a safe and enjoyable matchday experience for players and supporters. They are the lifeblood of our game and deserve nothing less." End of quote. Well, that is it. They're looking ahead to next season. Don't want to see any fans get hurt. But like I said, man, it's always going to be difficult to manage Pyro. It's never going to get to a point where it's allowed in the stands. 'Cause, you know, like I'm not saying they don't do thorough searches, but if they wanted to, they could easily crack down on like people. I mean, obviously, people bring alcohol into games anyway, despite the ban order, right? And they could further crack down on things like that and also Pyro. and like drums being brought in and banners, etc., etc. But do you want to see that? Do you want to literally see like every single fan that's going into a football stadium getting searched? You don't want to see that, man. You don't. But it's all about trust, and it's all about that, man. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with the pyro and other issues in Scottish football. But yeah, I like pyro, guys. Do you like pyro? I like the pyro. I'm going to stop saying pyro.